Former Dallas Cowboys defensive end Greg Ellis joins us on Radio Row at Super Bowl 49. Before we talk about the Cowboys, the movie, Greg has done a number of things since his retirement, but now you've made a movie. It's called Carter High.
Yep.
And it's shot and you're editing right now, is that right?
Yeah, we shot it, did all of it in the Dallas Metroplex area, and so now we're in the editing stages of it.
All right, tell me about the inspiration was that Carter High School State Championship football
Correct,
team, right?
that year.
And talk to me about that.
Well, that year Carter had an outstanding football program, and they've had it for several years. Coach James is in the Texas Hall of Fame, Sports Hall of Fame, and he's the head coach of that football team. And they were just a bunch of talented kids. There are a bunch of talented kids that played it too close, kind of off the field, and it caught up with them, and they end up getting some extreme punishment because of it. So I feel like this film will kind of help some people, especially young people, when they're at that fork in the road. Do I turn left? Do I turn right? What do I do? And hopefully, after seeing this film, they will know, okay, I want to keep my nose clean, stay out of trouble, and get to where I think I can be at in life.
I remember that team. They had their state championship. They won it and then had it stripped from the UIL. It's no longer even on the books that they ever won it, even though they did on the field.
No, you're exactly right. And you look back, Carter was the only Dallas team that won the state championship, I think, since 1950-something.
It was, what was that, 1980?
1988.
1988, yes.
Yep. So they were really extremely talented. They lived an extreme life off the field to be high school football players. When you look at some of the original footage of these guys, the size that they were at, the gold jewelry they were wearing and all that kind of stuff, you would say, man, these are seniors in college that's getting ready to go to the NFL, but they were only high school kids.
17-year-old kids, right?
17-year-old kids. And it's very interesting because, throughout the whole movie and throughout the whole ordeal that they were doing, these were, tough acting guys like most young teenage boys are, especially football players. But when they received the punishment, to see them dwindle down and then they took the cover off, then you truly saw 17-year-old kids.
You talked about the fork in the road back when you spoke at the kickoff luncheon in Tyler back in August. Where does that fork in the road? I guess it comes for different people.
It might be a North Carolina thing.
But it comes for different guys at different times, does it not?
No, it really does. It really does.
Where was your fork in the road?
Man, I had a lot of forks in the road. Growing up, tough neighborhood, tough environment, and that kind of thing.
In North Carolina,
had a lot of opportunity to get in trouble. A lot of my friends, I got a friend right now. Well, I don't know if we classify each other as friends now. He's been in jail since he was 14 years old. Kind of like the Carter kids. This guy, we grew up together, same last names, and he is still in jail to this day.
Maybe not a bad guy, but took a bad path, right?
Exactly. That fork in the road came from him. He turned the wrong way, and it ended him into jail, and he kept doing thing after thing while he was in jail. And so now I think, to me, you would have to classify him as institutionalized after all those years of being in prison.
The fork in the road, though, for you took you to Dallas, Texas, the Cowboys, #1 draft pick, late 90s, and over a decade-long NFL career. You watched them play this year, and when we talked back in August, I don't think anybody was terribly optimistic about that football team.
No.
Were you?
No, I don't think anybody was optimistic about them at all. In some cases, people that are still a part of the team, I don't know how optimistic they were about them neither. But it goes to show, the old saying, that's why you play the game. And so they went out there, played football with a lot of inspiration, and especially on the defensive side. And they held their own. They played smart strategy football. The challenge would be, like all the other 30-something teams, can you do it again? But even more so for Dallas, because they have to improve on their defense. Offense, I think they should be there for several years to come. They got an offensive line so they can run the ball. That's going to help them. But can they win time of possession as big as they wanted this year? If they can't, it's going to put a lot of pressure on the defense, and they're going to truly have to step up and stop people. Whereas this year, the time of possession was so skewed in Dallas' favor, it really wasn't a lot of pressure on the defense.
You played, of course, defensive end for the Cowboys. What do they need? What do the Cowboys need defensively right now?
You know what? If they had a pass rusher. I mean, and I've been in that seat before, and they said we don't have pass rushers. And I don't want to say they have bad guys on their football team, but when you're playing Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers can't outrun probably my 5-year-old daughter because of his injury, you got to figure out some way to get to him. And Dallas didn't get to him enough with a 4-man rush. And that caught up with him, I think. You know, we all look at the catch that should have been ruled a catch, but let the truth be told, you should have been able to put enough pressure on Rodgers where you shouldn't even be in that situation.
But what about leadership on the team? Was that better this year?
I think that was definitely there. I mean, you know, I wasn't concerned about the leadership. I think, you know, you got Jason Witten, you got Tony Romo, and Dez Bryant grew up this year, if you ask me. You know, and it's going to be a question mark there because if you leave the franchise tag on Dez, does that regress comes up that he may not be happy with that? I don't know. Hopefully it doesn't. But, you know, we don't know. They got a lot of question marks coming up this new season.
What all are you into right now, Greg? Because I know since your NFL career, I know you've done some stuff, and how respected you are in the community. What are you doing right now? What all are you doing?
You know what? This movie project is consuming the majority. Has consumed the majority of my time. I got my own production company in a studio, so we rent that out. People shoot their commercials there and that type of thing. But I speak, go to places and speak like I did down that way.
Yep.
I do a little commentating with Mike Ducey back in Dallas on Fox 4. But the main project for me right now is the Carter movie project.
What about guys after it? I think we even talked about this in August. Career ends abruptly, and guys aren't prepared for the afterlife of football. How do you get prepared? You even talk to guys about that, don't you?
Yeah, it's very hard because people have to realize end of our career is not it didn't start when we started playing NFL football.
Right.
It started when we were 12 and 13 years old for most of us. And so we've been playing football all of those years. You have an off season, an end season, a pre-season. You have all that stuff for so many years. And then when it's abruptly over, it's like, okay, what time am I supposed to eat? What time am I supposed to wake up?
Somebody's been telling you to do that all this
exactly.
time, right?
Somebody's been telling you to do it for all your life almost. So it's a big transition that has to take place. And I encourage guys, even guys listening to this interview, they need to start doing something while they're playing football. I say that because don't worry about making the money. Just don't lose your money. But start something small while you're playing, while you really don't need that income. But go ahead and start something. So when football is over, you can transition right into it.
All right, I ask you one other question then. To guys who think they're going to be NFL players, the odds are long, okay? They're in high school right now. That's the more apropos application here.
Correct.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket. What message would you say to guys in high school who might be really talented, but the odds are so long that they'll get to play in the Super Bowl or even put on a Cowboy uniform someday?
You're exactly right. I mean, the odds are better probably for you winning the lottery when you really think about it. There are a lot of high schools, there are a lot of colleges, and you got to crawl through those ranks to be able to get to that NFL level. I don't discourage kids from that, but I make sure I tell them, don't make that be your only goal in life. If that's your goal, that's what you want to be, go for it. Do all you can do to accomplish that, but also don't neglect the other side of reality. Because reality is not NFL, it's not NBA. Reality is doctors, lawyers, police officers, teachers. That's what you can in reality become, not over here.
Greg Ellis, the movie is Carter High, the Carter High movie. When do you expect for it to come out? CarterHighMovie.com is the website. When's it going to come out?
Yep. Our goal is to have it out in November of this year. So that's what we're shooting for. And, we're on track to get that accomplished so far. So hopefully we can stay on track.
Greg, good luck with it. Best of luck, buddy. Thanks for stopping by.
Appreciate it.
Greg Ellis here at Super Bowl 49.